Afternoon. Today is August 7, it's 4 p.m. Can you please call the order
Chairperson Juani Garza.
here?
Vice Chair Ted Masiacos.
Present.
Alderman John Lash.
Here.
Alderman Emmanuel Llamas.
Here.
4 present.
Okay. Approval the minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Alderman Lamas, second Alderman Mesiacos. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And motion pays 4-0. Okay. Have public comments?
We have no one signed up for public comment today.
Okay. Can you please read the first item in the agenda?
Item 23-0559, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to execute a contract with Tatisco, Inc., Yorkville, Illinois, in the amount of $71,000.00 for the installation of 2 new Jumbotron mounts at River Edge Park in Ward 1.
Good afternoon, Jason Bauer, Public Works Department. Was a couple, maybe 2 weeks ago, we came through with the purchase of the new Jumbotrons for River Edge Park. And as we indicated at that time, 2 of these are going in a location that there currently is not a Jumbotron. So this is, I put the picture again attached to the Legistar, and you can see that it's basically for stage left and stage right. So we bid the project out. We did not get any bids. So once we did that, we talked to purchasing. They said we could directly reach out to some vendors. So we actually, a couple of years ago, the folks at ACA, they bid this out, and for one reason or another, they weren't able to move forward with the installation. So we reached out to that vendor as he was the low bid at that time. So we got those numbers, and really that's where we're at now. So hopefully he can have this done by the time that the new Jumbotrons arrive.
So the quote we have for Tatisco, they say 61,000.
Yes.
And what is 71,000 we have to approve?
So we put in a contingency there. There are in the
Because it's not
prints.
explaining the,
Oh, I thought I
item.
thought I did. I'll make sure that it's clear in there. But yeah, we.
'cause- yeah, this is what I thought, this is contingency, but it didn't mention
Sure.
it there.
Yeah, we'll make sure that we say that it is for the contingency. But basically, even the prints that the architect put together, there's a lot of, notes to verify in the field because it's an existing structure that we're attaching to. So the contractor's going to have to take some flashing off and really figure out how to do the connections in the field. So we felt that having a contingency would be appropriate for that.
Okay. Questions, comments?
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes?
thank you. It does mention here a little bit about 10,000 contingency, but I didn't know whether to assume it was contingency for the engineer or for the project. Because engineer is a separate price according from this, correct?
I'm sorry,
The engineering is a separate price from.
the engineering was already done. ACA paid for the engineering
Okay.
when they did it, so we just used those same prints and went out to bid with the same
My only
project.
question for clarification right now, my main question is, and I brought this up before in the past, do we make an effort to contact eligible bidders or people who do this type of work? And do we
Yes.
reach out?
Yes, we did, and actually purchasing sent it out directly to some vendors that we, there were some local ironworking vendors that they sent it directly to. I don't know why no one responded, but there's,
And we
Yeah,
have it on
maybe the time
record,
of year.
right? So we're good. We're
What's that?
covered. We have it on record, obviously, right?
oh, yeah, and it was purchased, or it was advertised in the paper. It was anyone who signed up to get notifications for our bids, they were notified as well. And again, we did even go above and beyond that and reached out to people that we thought were capable of doing the work.
Yeah, well, I think this is going to be a nice addition, a nice improvement to our park there, River Edge Park. So looking forward to this moving forward, because we've already approved the purchase for the Jumbotrons, and this was a anticipated additional cost, as mentioned in the committee meeting, for the purchase of the monitors themselves. So make a motion to approve. If there's other questions.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes?
Just a quick suggestion, actually, that came from the public after we purchased the Jumbotrons last time. And I don't know if this is us or ACA, but the idea of selling corporate sponsorship to offset some of the cost of these. And I'm sure it's not too late to pursue that down the road.
We've had some discussions along those same lines. Yeah, it's definitely looking for those types of opportunities.
Thank you. No further questions.
Okay. So is motion already on the table, what, the Mesiacos?
Second.
Second, John Lash. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0.
Item 23-0581, a resolution authorizing the approval of service agreement between Selectron Technologies and the City of Aurora for Select Text, a texting interface with Trackit system.
Who's presented? Is nobody here? Nobody from this item?
Maybe we should put it to the bottom of the agenda, Madam Chairwoman.
Yeah,
Maybe
okay.
Staff can try to find
Let's go
some.
to the other item.
Item 23-0588, a resolution to award the Rural Street and Wood Street Drainage Improvements Project located in Ward 1 to Stokes Excavating, Inc. in the bid amount of $118,310.00.
Good afternoon, Kurt Muth with the Engineering Division. So this project would address two local drainage issues that were identified, one this spring and one late last year. The first being on Rural Street in front of 1025 Rural. There's a significant drainage area north of Rural Street. This is just east of Ohio. That drains south over Rural Street and onto the property at 1025 Rural and floods out that building. So there's drainage that crosses over the right-of-way and including some of the right-of-way that needs to be captured. So we're going to extend the storm sewer and install a couple structures to grab that drainage. The second location is on Wood Street, and there is some low spots in the parkway and sidewalk that is degrading because of the drainage, and we're looking to install 3 storm structures to pick up that drainage and address those issues as well. This project would utilize about half of the fund that this committee manages that we requested approval for previously. We put it out to bid. We got 4 bids. Stokes Excavating was the low bidder, and the next lowest bid was very close, less than $600, so it was very competitive. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions, comments?
Got a question, Madam Chairwoman.
Yes.
A typical question when I see Stokes bidding, which is no problem. They do quality work. It's established. We enjoy their relationship. Based on the amount of work that they've already been awarded for the city, are those projects that they've been awarded recently in completion or close to completion, and there's not going to be an issue with them taking on more work at this juncture?
I don't see any issues meeting the deadline with this project. It's probably for the underground work a week for each site, and they've been progressing really nicely with the projects that they have ongoing. So
Appreciate the update. Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Motion approved by Alderman Ted Masiacos, second Alderman John Lash. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0.
Item 23-0590, a resolution to award the Broadway Avenue Water Main Improvement Project located in Ward 2 to Burger Contractors, Inc. in the bid amount of $2,075,307.33.
So this is a pretty major water main project we're proposing here, Broadway Avenue between Benton and New York. This section of water main has broken several times, most recently a couple years ago, and it was right in front of the Development Services Center building, right in front of the front door there, and ended up flooding out the first floor and part of the basement, causing a lot of rehab needed to be done. And just with the size of the water main and the location, and the age, if it were to break in the future, there's potential for damages to other nearby buildings. This is the first phase of a bigger project. We're looking to do some other improvements to Broadway, and we would like to get the water main addressed ahead of time so that it doesn't become an issue when we finish the roadway and other aspects of the project in the future. We put it out to bid. We've got 5 bids. The lowest one from Burger Contractors. They were significantly lower than the other bidders, so we're pretty happy with their bid. Have done some work with them. And was pretty happy with their contractors, underground contractors for that project. So I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
It's necessary to do it. Questions, comments?
Yeah, quick question. You mentioned that there's other work. Is that also underground work?
We will have some storm sewer. There are some structures within this corridor that still need to be separated from the combined system. It's on the other half of the roadway, so it'd be a separate traffic control setup. And if we combine the two at this time, we weren't confident we could get it all done before winter. So it's probably better to wait till next year for that portion. And there's some vault work to be done, some filling of vaults.
Okay. And then I just, I'm going to check the, yeah, no, that's good. I don't have any more questions, thanks.
Okay, more questions? Yes?
A little clarification question, Madam Chairwoman. To what degree, to what level of disruption is it going to bring to our downtown business community and also to the local and pass-through traffic? What extent of disruption are we anticipating with this project? Obviously, it's necessary, but what's been discussed? Can you share with us a little bit more than what you just shared with us a little while ago?
Sure. We're in the process of getting the IDOT permit approval. We proposed installing the water main on the west half of the roadway, depending on where all the other utilities are located. So that would probably reduce it down to one lane in each direction on the east half of the road for the majority of the project.
And what about our sidewalks? Any disruption, pedestrian traffic of any kind? That's what I mean by also the business community. Has there been a discussion with the business group downtown, Aurora downtown, about this? Are they know that it's potentially coming or not?
We haven't distributed any letters yet. I know there's been discussions with the businesses downtown regarding the overall plan of the project as far as the streetscaping and whatnot. Usually I like to wait till after this meeting to reach out to them till I have some level of confidence that we're moving forward. But I will do that, tomorrow. And we have reached out to the ones that have water services that would be impacted and try and get a head start on swapping out lead water services.
Yeah, we've had, because it's been in the paper, we had a business on Farnsworth that mentioned in the paper that construction over there by Farnsworth and I believe it's Indian Trail, the goodies, their business was affected with construction and some unforeseen delays and whatnot, and trying to make sure we're also in communication with the business community, so we don't hear that same type of feedback moving into the near future because of this project. Albeit that's probably necessary. But that's where the thought comes into. And is this something that staff is also outside your office? I know we have a staff person here from the third floor. Is this something that you're all looking at and discussing, or no?
There's
Prep?
several of us involved in the different phases, so we're kind of working together on it.
Okay, because you said me, that's why I asked that question. You said, I make sure I'll take care of it by tomorrow. I just want to make sure that there's a broader discussion for the record on this thing. Topic.
Yeah, we'll begin distributing construction notices this week. Starting tomorrow, we've already reached out about the water services.
And what's the anticipated schedule for the construction?
The water main, we're trying to get done before winter to get the road back to normal for the winter.
Well, we're talking 8 weeks, 12 weeks. What's the estimate? How's that? You're not the contractor, I know, but there has to be an estimate, right?
Probably 8 weeks. It's dependent on how many other abandoned utilities we find in that corridor. It's digging downtown here can be challenging.
Sure.
That's gonna
Yeah.
it's gonna determine our progress day to day, probably.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your candor.
Yes. So that's good to business know what's going on in there. Exactly. So which is the side of the street they want to start? East side of the street or west side of the street? The two lines.
So the water main will be on the west side of the street, and then we'll shift the traffic to the east side, and we'll have one lane in each direction.
Okay. Yes, business need to know because some of the businesses have to be prepared for all the construction is coming on Broadway. So they have to start thinking to have the entrance in the back, like a plan B. So it's good to business know. Okay? All right. More questions, comments?
So moved.
Okay, motion by Jan Lesch. Who's second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Jacobs, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed 4-0. Next item.
Item 23-0594, a resolution authorizing the purchase of replacement and additional vehicles for the City of Aurora fleet for $526,000.00.
Good afternoon. Derek Winston, Director of Public Facilities. What's before you is an item authorizing the purchase of the remaining vehicles in 2023. Given the shortcomings and the limited opportunities we've had in the manufacturing industry, we've missed out on a few, and these ordering banks open rather quickly and close rather quickly. So we get pre-approved up to the budgeted amount. I think that'll really improve our chances on getting in on some of these vehicle orders.
So moved.
Comment, questions?
Quick question?
Yes.
I'm guessing it doesn't show that any of these are electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles.
Those are always going to be the preferred model availabilities.
Okay, except all right. Yeah, I'll go ahead and second the motion, but
Okay.
I'll vote no on it.
All right. Motion made by Alderman Lamas, or second, John Lash. All in favor, say aye.
Can I ask a question
Pass?
before we take a?
Yes.
vote on it? I'm just interested to hear Alderman Lash. So you're looking just for any future purchases that have to be all electric, every single vehicle, or are there specific vehicles you would like to see electric versus others?
Yeah, I don't want any fossil fuel votes in my record. I think that we're moving in that direction as a nation, and we need to draw a line in the sand. So I understand that there's a slower order process, but at the same time, we're a city with the ability to plan and think ahead and cope with the problem until we come up with new solutions.
So for this utility truck, I don't see what brand it is, but the utility truck at $107,000. Is there an electric version of that?
Not currently, Alderman.
Hybrid version?
Possibly, but not, it hasn't been communicated yet.
Okay. And then well, I'll let you continue with your questions.
No, it was just that. I mean, I can see something like, I don't think there's even an electric minivan, just because I'm all for electric vehicles myself. I don't have one because they're just out of price range right now. But not all vehicles are available in electric. So if it's something like a utility truck or one of these specialized trucks that we need for a certain department where there isn't a hybrid or electric version, would you still then be opposed to it?
Well, there are going to be, if we're going to break it out and go with which ones can and cannot be, then I would be happy if you wanted to make a motion for division based on what is available. But it sounds like there have been no searches or looks to go in this direction. Secondly, there's going to be a waiting list, but there's also healthy financial incentives at this time, which we can take advantage of and get on that waiting list. So, I mean, unless the vehicle's completely disabled, was destroyed in an accident, there's no emergency, right? We do have maintenance facilities that are able to.
Correct.
Okay.
So you would still, I mean, hypothetically then, let's say the price was double for an all-electric version of one of these vehicles, you would be okay with using taxpayer funds, paying double amount for the same vehicle because it's electric?
Madam Chair, if we can
Yes.
deal in hypotheticals.
We're trying to have a discussion here so that I understand
Sure.
moving forward, because I mean, I gave a speech before you came on the council during Alderman's Corner where I had a vision for us going further green. My example was with paper and how we should just use iPad. Everything should be digital. There's no need for paper. So we're not too far off. I know we disagree about other things, but this one I'm hearing you out to see if maybe I want to join in that stance against these type of vehicles. But I want to know kind of where that line is, what you're looking for, rather than just kind of a generic idea.
Well, first thing, I think we have to go step by step, because if we still focus only on electrical cars, like you're saying, first, I think we have to have a lot of more stations for gas stations, we have gas stations, we want to have also to charge these vehicles. If we have all, if you want to do this step right away, so I think they're going to take time. Little by little. You know, first we have to have the stations in downtown, stations for chargers, stations everywhere to have all these kind electrical cars.
So the hybrid vehicles don't require a charging station unless it's a charge hybrid. I would say that some of the bigger vehicle purchases are going to be, there's going to be a change in battery technology. When solid state batteries come online, it looks like Toyota is about to lead the way on that. But we're still 2 to 5 years out. And quite frankly, we can't go and move our police vehicles to that unless they are used intermittently, because it would be impossible to change those out through the shift, right? So I can understand moving those into hybrid. And some of the bigger ones, it would make sense to also pursue hybrid options or natural gas options to reduce our carbon footprint. And then with respect to the charging stations, there's enormous amounts of grants out there that we could be pursuing. And the environmental committee here that operates through the mayor's office, the advisory committee, has advised on multiple occasions for us to pursue those grants, and they have not pursued those grants. So I would like to see us go in that direction without question. It's the future. It's coming on our public works building. We should be building it out for charging stations. There's 2 emerging technologies, electric and hydrogen. Hydrogen will probably dominate in larger vehicles, fire engines, et cetera. And that's probably 7 to 10 years out. Again, Toyota's leading the way. But I think we need to move in that direction. And that's what I would like to see.
I'm agree
proposed to
with
us.
you, we have to move in that direction, but we have to go step by step, that's what I'm saying.
With respect to cost, the real significant offsets are right now. You can get about $14,000 back between state and federal grants, depending on what you purchase. So happy to work together to iron out
I'm
Right
trying
now-
to have a good discussion here, so
Yeah.
I like what you're saying. Maybe a suggestion moving forward would be, I don't know if this would be possible, but at least so that we're aware and for transparency purposes, when we are bidding out vehicles like this, in this chart that we have here, maybe we could specify whether there is an alternative to a fossil fuel version, whether it be hybrid, all electric, or hydrogen, something else, and if it's, for the cargo van at 49,000, maybe there's an electric version that Tesla makes that costs 120,000. If you could still put it on there, so at least we know, if maybe parentheses, that there is an alternative, but it's just cost prohibitive or whatever the case may be. That way we are, as a council, aware, because I'm only aware of hybrids and all electric vehicles for consumer vehicles, what's out on the road. But for these specialized trucks, I don't know if that exists. So maybe if you'd be able to in the future, that would be great for us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And long-term for the city, we're going to have to decide which direction we're going to go. So if you feel like that's a discussion for this committee or a different one, I definitely would be very interested in having that
If
committee.
you're doing the Alderman's Corner, that would be a good chance to do that.
Well, so we have a motion, right?
Yes, motion by Alderman Yamas.
And
second
Chairwoman,
by-
just one question as well.
Okay,
What's the lifespan of these vehicles that we're talking about today?
It varies, but so we'll take the property standards vehicle, for instance, the 2 small pickups, you're looking at 10 to 15 years.
10 to 15 years, okay. All right.
for the parking recreation, what is the difference in the box van and the cargo van?
Okay, so the box van, it usually comes as just the cab and a chassis, and then it has a utility box added on after the fact. Usually it holds other tools.
It's like a small utility truck?
It's classified as a light-duty vehicle. I don't know if you've seen the sign truck driving around town. It's very similar to that.
Okay. More questions, comments? No? And when it's already, it's a motion already in the floor, and second, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it's approval, but you approve, John?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and vote no if you want to vote, for
I
the,
do second or no?
I second it,
Okay,
correct.
all
yes.
right. All right, so 4-0. So
No,
next.
no, Madam Chair, we need to put it.
3-1.
We need to put it to a vote. We need to put it to a vote.
Okay.
It's not unanimous.
All right, no problem. We can put it on,
No, right now.
Community-
We
oh,
can
right
vote.
now.
We
I
vote.
think
We
he
need-
wants to vote.
Oh, right
against
now
it.
you wanna vote?
Against it right now, right?
Sure.
okay? So,
Do you want to call the roll or?
yeah, call the roll.
Yes, I can
and
do that. For item 23-0594, Chairperson Juan Garza,
Yes,
Vice Chair Ted Masiacos.
Yes.
Alderman John Lash,
No.
Alderman Emmanuel Llamas.
Yes.
okay, so it's 3 yes, 1 no. Next item?
Item 23-0615, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to increase an existing purchase order with Rubino Engineering, Inc., 425 Shepherd Drive, Elgin, Illinois, 60123, to an amount not to exceed $80,000 to provide professional foundation materials, testing services for the Public Works Combined Maintenance Facility Project.
Hello, Ian Wade, Engineering Division. As was kind of laid out in the discussion of this item, we had selected Rubino as our geotechnical engineer of record several years ago near the early stages of this project. And as a result of them being the ones that made the soils recommendations for how to grade the site and do the soils engineering work, they were the logical choice to bring them on board to do the initial compaction testing, observation of mass grading, and just confirming that the soils that are left on site to build upon are suitable. Because this service is driven by the pace of the contractor and the amount of retesting that needs to occur and things like that, we really weren't able to put a real firm number on it to start. So we started out having a purchase order with them for $25,000. We did encounter some challenging soils conditions out there that required quite a few additional visits. So as we approached that $25,000 threshold, we went ahead and increased it to not to exceed $50,000. We probably would have stayed under that threshold if we hadn't elected to also request Rubino to provide the foundations testing for the building itself. So again, as kind of was explained in there, the fact that they're going to be on site finishing up the site work and wouldn't have to send a second technician out, they can cover both at the same time, along with the fact that, they did the grading and they were there when the fill was placed on the building pad, so they're familiar with the soils that they will be verifying during the foundation excavation in addition to the concrete testing. Made them a logical choice, and we think that there's some cost savings to the city in utilizing that. So because we added that additional scope, that sent them over the threshold requiring your approval. So I'm here today to request the permission to increase it to $80,000, though I don't foresee the services reaching that point, but I just wanted to be sure we had enough in there to where I wouldn't have to come back again for this contract. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
Comments, questions? No? Okay.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Alderman Llamas, second Alderman John Lash. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0.
Thank you.
Now let's go back to the 2305A1. Yes.
A resolution authorizing the approval of service agreement between Selectron Technologies and the City of Aurora for Select Text, a texting interface with Trackit system.
Appreciate you guys' patience. Sorry about not being here at the start. What we're looking to do with Selectron, it's an interface that's going to work off cell phones and tablets. And what it's going to be available is to any contractor or homeowner, anyone doing a project, would basically be able to use the text feature on their device to directly interchange information with the backbone of the system we use in development services to do permits, schedule inspections, see results, pay fees, everything like that. So a contractor on site is going to be able to take out their phone, text in a number, it'll take it directly to this interface that then plugs in, hey, what are you looking to do on this permit? And it'll pull up, what are your active inspections that you can schedule? What are your fees you can pay? You select an option, and you just go back and forth like a prompt, almost like when you do things like order food through a website, things like that, and they interface with you, and you just do messages back and forth. It also gives them immediate results on site. So if something occurs and they got notifications, it'll also let them know, here's what's occurring at this point in time, here is your inspection result, and everything like that. Part of the reason we're looking to go to this is I think our number one complaint we have is that no one, we can't answer the phones. Frankly, we've got 7 clerks working constantly. They're handling people that are already in the office. They've got phone calls coming in, and a lot of times it's handling this portion of the service, scheduling inspections, everything like that, and it takes a good amount of time to get someone on the phone, hey, what's your address or permit number, pull it up, what's your inspection over this. So in all that time frame, it could be someone just pulling out the phone and doing it. Also, our most frequent customers doing this are always going to be the contractors, especially high-volume ones that are doing a lot. So what this is going to hopefully do is cut down on them calling in, wanting to schedule multiple projects, multiple inspections, and free up that time so that our clerks who are doing both building and permits, property standards, economic development work, can help people that are in the office or on the phone whose problem can't be solved by something like this. So we're trying to take a bulk process and kind of push it off so that it can be more automated. People would still be able to call in if they need. They can also use the online system. But frankly, everyone's been on a construction site. We don't have construction workers walking around carrying laptops or having computer stations. They've got tablets maybe for the drawings. They've got phones out all the time. It's really ready access. So this project we're looking for, again, it's $59,500 total. That covers the initial setup for this year where they will come in, help program and do all that interlink between the system and our track it system as we have it, and then a multiple year contract where they're going to keep going over it. Part of this also produces pamphlets, which will be able to be out in our lobby, handed out to contractors and things like that. That'll give them, hey, here's the number you text, here's all the main codes you would use, so that they have something that's, in their hand ready to go. They'll also produce that for us electronically, so we can post it on the website and everything like that, so that they have ready access. But that's a summary of kind of what we're looking for, and happy to answer any questions about it.
Questions, comments? Yes?
I do. Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, thank you for working to improve the efficiency. I've definitely heard about this from constituents and contractors. I just want to know, did we run it through a pilot test first? And my second follow-up question, I heard you talk about the pamphlets, but what is I feel like there might need to be an extra step to educate contractors, starting with the bigger ones first, to implement it into their daily thing. Is it something new, a little bit more than a pamphlet? So I'm not sure if that's included in the contract or what our plan is there.
Yeah, sure, we can answer both those. So the first one, we haven't piloted it with our system. I've seen it operate. We've seen it 2 conventions, how it operates and everything, how it goes along. But until they have a contract, they won't start the integration with our system. So I wouldn't be able to see how it exactly works there, but seeing it work in other track-it systems and knowing how ours is based, there's a comfort level there. I've already reached out to some of our primary volume-based contracting groups about this, and our plan would be to bring them into the office and do a demonstration in our conference room, probably sit them down individually, talk them through, because there's different comfort levels with technology with each group. So I imagine each one's going to take a little longer or a little shorter depending on where they're at. But we would normally bring in probably our top, 4 or 5 builders right now and sit them through and let them talk through everything and give them the information, make sure that they get it all.
Thank you. No further questions.
Okay, more questions, comments? Yes?
Yeah, I have a question as well. I think we've had a lot of success here with the track system that we have on hand. I think this will definitely be an improvement. My thought right now is with this $8,000 subscription service, is there going to be a requirement for training, especially if we have a change in personnel from retirement at all?
So you mean with our city staff?
With this program, with this software, you said you can call and bring them in, but is there a component that requires training, and is it included as part of this fee?
I don't think, and this is just from me, seeing Alderman Mazzucatos, I don't necessarily think we need Selectron's group to do the training. I think once it's set up, they will have trained city staff on how we manipulate it in the background, but anything with the interface, we should be able to teach the contractors moving forward.
Sure, all right, well, thank you, appreciate
Yep.
it. Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Alderman Ted Misiacos. Second, Alderman John Lash. All in favor, say aye.
Aye,
Okay, motion
Thank you.
passed 4-0.
thank you.
No other items. Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Motion adjourned by Ted Misiacos. Second, John Lash. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, adjourn the meeting at 4:36. Thank you very much.